benching Joe Flacco, but they'll be going to rookie Dylan Gabriel this week against.
To have Shedeur Sanders at number 3 to me feels like it's not about football. Or in a better position for you to see what you have than Joe Flacco.
What if I told you that 1 year ago, Shedeur Sanders was projected to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft? What if I told you his own father essentially tanked his draft stock by threatening to pull an Eli Manning? And what if I told you right now as I'm recording this, Lamar Jackson is injured and sitting out week 5? Meaning that if Shedeur Sanders had just swallowed his pride and let the Baltimore Ravens draft him, he might be starting an NFL game this weekend with Zay Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins to throw the football to, and Derrick Henry standing behind him whenever he's about to snap the ball. Instead, he's the 3rd string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, watching from the sideline with a headset, looking absolutely miserable, as Dylan Gabriel was just named the starting quarterback for week 5. And to be honest, Shedeur Sanders' response to all this kind of rationalizes why teams didn't take him to begin with.
Vocally, anything to say? I guess what can you say?
Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. This kid talks, he runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
So this is the story of how Shedeur and his father Deion completely torpedoed what could have been a promising NFL career. And honestly, they have no one to blame but themselves. So real quick, before we dive into this bizarre story, this video is sponsored. I just swept Monday Night Football, making over $500 off of 3 plays. And a lot of my Instagram followers have been raking in a ton of money as well. I mean, just look at my DMs, guys. Now, if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, make sure you use my promo code microphone to get $50 in lineups when you make a play of $5 or more. And for Thursday Night Football, this is what I'm thinking of running with. I got Christian McCaffrey going over 39.5 rush yards. Devontae Adams has been finding the end zone each and every game this week, so I have him doing that once again against San Francisco. And I have Puka Nacua going for 70 receiving yards at least. If all 3 of these hit, my $50 would turn into $150. I give away a lot of picks on my Instagram story, and I also have a partnership with Fantasy Aces. The link to that's in the description down below. We've been hitting so much as a result of that Discord community. If you want to check them out, check out the WAP link in the description down below. And thank you, Prize Picks, for sponsoring today's video. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Let's rewind to March of 2024. Shedeur Sanders is coming off of a solid junior season at Colorado. He's being mocked as a first-round pick by a million different draft analysts. I mean, hell, a lot of individuals thought he was the top quarterback in the draft, which explains why Mel Kiper crashed out so much during the draft when he wasn't selected in the first 5 rounds.
I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what the heck's going on with this. 5th player on my board, other quarterbacks being taken who aren't as good as Shedeur. Outside of not being have the rocket arm and the 4.6 speed and a big frame, what is he lacking?
A huge reason for this is because of how his father approached the draft. Deion goes on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast and drops this bomb.
Okay, but I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen. It's not. I'm sorry. It's gonna be an Eli.
Now, for those of you guys who don't know, pulling an Eli refers to when Eli Manning refused to play for the San Diego Chargers after they drafted him 1st overall in 2004, forcing a trade to the New York Giants. Deion was basically telling NFL teams that my son is going to dictate where he goes, and if you draft him and we don't like you, we're going to cause problems. Now, think about this from an NFL team's perspective. You're a general manager. You've got maybe 5 years to build a winner before you get fired. Do you really want to use your 1st-round pick on a quarterback whose Hall of Fame father is already threatening to interfere if you're not on his approved list? I mean, there's a reason why the Browns draft room looked very anticlimactic after they drafted Shedeur to begin with. Now, according to former NFL quarterback Chase Daniel on the Scoop City podcast, this comment absolutely rubbed NFL teams the wrong way. He said, and I quote, "Do you think that went over well in draft rooms? Like, we don't have to have hot takes. This is just pure, simply stated facts." But it gets worse, way worse. Fast forward to the 2020 2025 NFL Combine, this is where prospects meet with teams, show off their skills, and most importantly, prove that they're mature enough to handle being a professional. According to Tom Pelissaro, one longtime NFL assistant coach called Shedeur's formal interview the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled, and of course, in my previous videos, I used this clip to prove the fact that he comes off as entitled.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, that don't give me.
Guys, let that sink in for a second. This is the worst formal interview this coach has ever experienced. Could you imagine how many interviews this man has given throughout his entire career? He's been in the NFL for years. He's probably interviewed hundreds of prospects. NFL insider Josina Anderson reported that a quarterback's coach from a team drafting in the top 7 called Shedeur arrogant and brash during his interview at the Combine. And according to CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones, sources told him that Shedeur